As of a couple of days ago, there were 88 prisoners and 15 prison staff who'd been diagnosed with COVID-19, and 2 prisoners have died. That's in prisons in England and Wales. Now, that number might be higher now, but prisons are already overcrowded and the close living conditions are not very conducive to social distancing. During my training, ordination training, I had the privilege of working with a chaplaincy team in a prison, and it really opened my eyes to the challenges and difficulties that are often faced on a daily basis. And in the current climate, those difficulties are even more serious. There has been talk of low-risk prisoners who are nearing the end of their sentence to be released, temporarily released. And I was reminded of this when I read today's reading in Mark's Gospel, and I'll just read out a part of that to you. At festival time, Pilate used to release a prisoner for them, anyone they asked for. Now someone called Barabbas was then in prison with the rebels who had committed murder during the uprising. When the crowd went up to them and began to ask Pilate to do the customary favour for them, Pilate answered them, "Do you want me to release for you the King of the Jews?" For he realised it was out of spite that the chief priests had handed Jesus over. The chief priests, however, stirred up the crowd so that he should release Barabbas for them instead. So here, Barabbas, a prisoner, a murderer, is released, and the innocent Jesus is captive and will ultimately face the death penalty. And some of my favourite verses are ones that Jesus quotes from the prophet Isaiah at the beginning of his ministry. Jesus says that he will bring good news to the poor, but also he will proclaim release for the captives and set the oppressed free. And certainly Barabbas found his freedom. And we too, who believe in the saving power of Jesus, are also set free from sin and death. However, we still may find ourselves at times in our own prisons. At the moment, lockdown, a prison term, is a restriction on our freedoms, and may feel for some of us a very lonely and isolating experience of being imprisoned in our homes. To others, our homes may feel like a safe sanctuary. Or maybe both of these things we feel, but perhaps at different times as we journey on through this time. Prison or sanctuary, whichever it is, seek solace and hope in our Lord Jesus, who himself was imprisoned, but through him and his death on the cross, freedom is found. And today, I'm going to remember in my prayers the prisoners and also officers and staff and the multi-faith chaplaincy teams who are working so hard and doing all they can at this time. Amen.